So from the very depth of military readiness, national security, to putting gas in the car and food on the table, we have a host of things to be worried about.
Hey guys, Alex Newman here with The New American. We are at the Moment of Truth Summit hosted by Mike Lindell, and we're with my friend Tamara Scott. She is, among other things, the host of an amazing show on Lindell TV. It's called The Tamara Scott Show. She's also on the RNC, and you've been working on promoting freedom and things for a very long time. It's great to have you with us. What are some of the issues that you think right now are most important for Republicans to be thinking about and to be working on?
Well, first off, let me say thank you. It's an honor to be here with you because you were always the guest on my show for so many years, so that now that you're even having me on yours is an honor. I thank you for that.
Well, it's an honor to have you, so thank you.
And I appreciate the work that we do together, fighting so many causes, working to educate people, so I just appreciate our partnership. Okay, question on what we're doing right now, what we should be concerned about in America. Listen, folks, if you even have to think that through, right? Since Trump went out of office, no matter what you thought of Trump, since he went out of office, we went from being an energy exporter to now energy dependent, though it's not necessary. We still have plenty of energy here. And your gas at the pump went up how much? People are now having to decide, do I put food on the table, gas in the car, or what other option am I going to remove from my family? So there's something that's on everybody's plate right now, no pun intended, but here's the deal. How do you thrive as a family when you're working to simply survive? And I believe there's a group somewhere out there that knows that. If they can keep you distracted, if they can keep you in peril, it's hard to fight a cause when you're working to pay the rent. So these are very everyday issues that I think have hit us up hard, not just the energy, but since this administration came in, we've had the largest landmass invasion since World War II. And I believe that that's a cause of, with Trump, he was rebuilding our military, strengthening our military. He obviously honored and respected our military, as well as working across the globe to connect with other leaders who maybe we don't even consider our friend, whether it's North Korea or whoever it is. But he would go to the UN and directly talk right to them about religious liberty and inalienable rights that we enjoy in America, not being something that is divided or decided by borders, but everybody across the globe should have those inalienable rights because they come from our Creator.
That's right.
He put it to them. I love this about Trump. He would put it to people right when he was at their table, right? And so when he did that, now you see what's happening. We have a military that's being weakened. Biden is systematically dismantling our military, whether it's recruiting numbers down. We're 2 months left in the fiscal year, and I think they're either at 40% of recruiting numbers or they're 40% shy of recruiting numbers. We have people walking away from the military, not wanting to, but over this COVID coercion of these injections under the guise of military readiness. But you're going to tell me kicking them out makes us more ready? And then add to that the wokeism, not just in our public schools, thank you Loudoun County, for waking up America the 2021 election, but it's on our military bases. They're doing drag queen shows on our military bases. Langley Air Force Base, July 30th, drag show. We've got stories about a sailor, Harpy Daniels, on a warship talking about being transgender. They're transgendering our children in these schools and not telling parents. Marsha Blackburn had a great amendment on the NDAA bill to stop the schools and our military bases from doing this to our children without parental knowledge, right? So you've got those issues. Oh, not to mention, China's putting up 5 warships to our 1. And so they're launching warships while we're launching word skills.
Yeah, right.
On transgender, right, pronouns. So, gee, there's just a few, and we're just scratching the surface. And so from the very depth of military readiness, national security, to putting gas in the car and food on the table, we have a host of things to be worried about.
Yeah, no kidding. I want to ask you about the Republican Party specifically. There's obviously this tug of war going on. Liz Cheney just got crushed in her primary, along with some of the other anti-Trump activists in Congress. They're just being decimated. And this is trickling down to the local level. I mean, just a moment ago, you and I were talking to some of the people who were trying to get conservatives on their local party boards, and they're being blocked. What's going on? What are you seeing? I'm also hearing that there are Democrats trying to infiltrate the party. So tell us what you're seeing, what's going on, as much as you can.
And so as far as Democrats infiltrating the party, whether that's because this is the winning party right now,
Yeah.
so you always have more people wanting to come over to the winning party. And somebody mentioned that a while ago, and I thought, no, because you and I hold to our values no matter who's winning.
Yeah.
We just do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But there is some of that. There's also some deceit. People coming over because they want to, if they think their district has gone Republican, they're going to try and slide the Democrat in where they think they can.
Wyoming, looking at you.
Oh my gosh, right? And I'm sorry, Liz Cheney, but if you couldn't get any more clear message, that maybe you need to find another line of work. So think about 2024 if you wish, but
Yeah. Unless they really rig it, I mean, that's going to be quite a feat. Huh?
That's like some of us saying, I want to be in a size 2. Wish it all you want. It's just not in your calendar this year, right? So anyway, so yes, you've got the issues. Always got the issues of infiltration for whatever reason or motivation. As far as the conservatives, our party is based on Judeo-Christian values, on the foundations that made this country strong. And so to think that somebody's trying to push out conservatives or not welcoming them is a hard thing to hear. But anytime you have power, money, it's a seduction, right? And sometimes I think people run with the best intentions. Maybe not everybody, but I think even those who run with the good intentions, it's easy to be seduced by that, right? And you think that you're guarding something by not letting somebody else in. So I also think this: when Donald Trump was there, everyone knew, there was our chief. He obviously, things were working under him, things were going well. So you had a lot of state parties going along, whether they really liked him or not. Now that he's gone, you see that turf war.
Yeah.
You see the territory, the arguments over territory. And I would say this: I think Zinke said when he was Secretary of the Interior, when you start lowering the swamp, draining the swamp, you see a lot of swamp monsters that you didn't know were lurking below the surface, right?
Yep.
And so now Trump's gone, and I think the swamp monsters are starting to feel a little more comfortable about raising their heads. So I just think we have the old-fashioned territory war in the Republican Party. Who's going to reign? It's a battle against good and evil. It's the same spiritual battle that we've seen across the globe for the ages of time.
Yeah.
And it's nestled in our party because, frankly, the Democrats gave up a long time ago.
Yeah, it is so true. I want to ask you about another hot issue. You and I have talked about this a little bit. Article 5 Constitutional Convention is an issue that's kind of dividing Republicans and conservatives right now, but you've expressed some serious concerns. Why are you concerned about the idea of opening up the Constitution to amendments?
Okay, so obviously the issue of opening up the Constitution is a reckless, dangerous idea. We're just talking about these conventions and people trying to take over conventions. At any of those conventions, the parliamentarian, those who know the rules, can shift the rules, use the rules however they wish, whether it's suspending the rules and changing, everything's out the window. There's just a whole myriad of risks there. But first off, let me just say, what's wrong with our Constitution?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
You and I both know Robert Brown, who does such a phenomenal job of debating this issue with such kindness and peace. And what's wrong? Where is the shortcoming in our Constitution? First off, as he would say, the solution is our Constitution, Article 6, upholding the oath of office. So many of the things we're dealing with, if it's, we hear people asking for a balanced budget amendment, which is one of the things they use for bait, right? Balanced budget amendment, term limits, local control, reining in government, all those things would happen if we enforced the existing Constitution.
That's right.
If we went back to enumerated powers, right? Balanced budget, and this is all from Robert, balanced budget, and I used to interview you on this as well, but a balanced budget, all you do is raise the revenue. Seldom do politicians appropriations, lower the spending, and you can spend it on anything you want as long as you cover the budget. Okay, so if you can't take a loan, what do you do in wartime? If you can't take a loan to get equipment, tanks, ammunition, whatever it is, you lose your country. A balanced budget won't mean much. If you put an exemption in there during wartime, when was the last time America wasn't in conflict? If it's during an emergency type action, I think Robert Brown said that goes back even further. But if you go back to enumerated powers, everything that our founding fathers listed, what we can and cannot spend money on at the federal level, clears it up. Clear, and it's done. And he says if you went to that, you would save, I think it's 80%, maybe even 90% of your budget. We'd be paying off the national debt. China wouldn't be an issue. Right?
So true.
So the problem is not the Constitution. The Constitution is the solution. And let me just go here. This is Tamara now, so don't blame anybody else for this. Go back to 2020, 2021. Our rights were just trampled. Our Constitution was shredded and ignored. And it shouldn't have happened. The lockdowns, the closings, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, the Constitution stands. It's made it through Civil War, it's made it through famine, it's made it through crisis, and it should have made it through this virus. We allowed all those things because it was such a psyops of fear and unknowing, and if you care for your neighbor, you'll be complacent. You'll be complicit, and you'll come along. If you don't, you don't care for your neighbor. The guilt, right? And so in that 2020, 2021, did you ever hear the Convention of States come out and stand for the Constitution? Say this shouldn't be happening under article or amendment or whatever? They never defended it. All they ever did was use it as one more reason we needed to undo it, revise it, rewrite it, or replace it. That's all it was a fear tactic. That's all they ever used. When I think it's the one thing that upheld our rights in courts now. It's how they're winning cases.
Yeah, that's how they got rid of the mask mandate.
Right?
The judge said that's unconstitutional.
It's the one document that saves us, that our rights are endowed by our Creator, but that Constitution is what secures them. The military defends them, but it's what secures them. And so when you see them all shredded like that, all right, so here you want my I don't have my tinfoil tiara with me today.
Let's hear it.
I put it on every so often on the show, and frankly,
better than a mask.
I'm going to have to start selling them because my conspiracy theories have all come true.
Right, yeah, I know. That means they're not theories anymore, though.
The CDC owes me an apology.
Yeah, all of us, I think.
Right. So, all right. So here's my conspiracy theory. We've now learned about the World Economic Forum, right? If you weren't paying attention before, you have to be under a rock to not know what they're up to now. Have you seen the little video where they're giving their goals? It looks like a chamber of commerce. Beautiful music, beautiful scenery.
Oh, yeah, the predictions by 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Oh, yeah, right.
That America will no longer be a superpower.
They're going to find aliens. We're going to eat less meat.
Right.
I mean, that's bonkers.
Traditional values will be tested to their breaking point, which is something they want.
We'll have to rent everything, so someone's going to own stuff.
Right.
Just not us.
Right. So if you look at that video, you now know where they're headed. We've heard about population control, which is, they've now brought it to the point where we know it's no longer just about controlling unwanted pregnancies or even abortions. It's about reducing the population that's here. How's that going to be done? So when you're finding out all of this is about global governance, all right, the Constitution is the one obstacle to global governance. It's the one obstacle to a North American Union. It is the one document that protects us as a people. I think you take that to a convention, you risk losing it. And I think some of them at the top, maybe not the good Americans who have just bought into the argument they've heard at a gun show, but somewhere at the top, I think they're quite all right putting it at risk. And if we lose the Constitution, that helps us global governance. It helps us one world order, if that's what you want to call it. It helps all those things we thought were conspiracy theories until they started opening up with their Chamber of Commerce marketing and telling us that's what they want.
I think you're 100% correct. In fact, I'm absolutely convinced of it. Folks, I know you've enjoyed this. I know you're just blown away by the insight, and you can actually get this every day. Tamara, what's the best way to watch your show?
So right now we're on Lindell TV, live every day at noon Central Time. Otherwise, the Tamara Scott Show Facebook page, but we're working on getting my my website up. I now have Annie from Lindell is going to help me do my website. I am not into social media. I am not here to make a name for
They just
myself.
censor us anyway, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not here to make a name for myself. Like, God drugged me here. You've got connections. I get to meet so many great people like you. And if I can help God get the truth out and help Americans wake up, I'll do it.
Well, you're doing it, and we all thank you very much for that. Tamara.
That's such an honor from you.
But it's
Thank
so
you.
true. You just been such a blessing to our country. I want to thank you for coming on with us. Folks, check out her TV show. It is amazing. I can tell you because I watch it. It's just awesome. Thank you so much, Tamara.
Made my day. You're going to make me cry.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you very much.